Hi y'all, Jeff back here with Jeff's Cars and Garage, and not in the garage this time, but we're going to talk a little bit about the Mercedes 350 SL. That's the project vehicle. Now, in front of me, I have the one of the taillights, and I don't know if if you go back in the videos, you saw where I broke taking out, trying to take this part of it out of the car. And it was this piece. In fact, on this particular taillight, this one was actually broke when I took it out, and then I broke the other one. And so I have since glued that back together. And I've also bought new seals for them. And I've had this apart and cleaned it up, and I'll show you how how easy it wasn't really that easy, because a couple of them were the one side was the original, and the other side, apparently the rubber seal had been replaced. But taking it apart, you have to be very, very gentle with it. And I've cleaned it up since then. But I'm going to show you here real quick, before I get into the rest of the topic as to what this video is about. I'm taking these nuts off of here that just to kind of give you an idea of what how not so difficult it is on the older Mercedes, provided I just hand tightened these, because I haven't I didn't want to get them fully tightened down yet, and besides, it's another cold day in Nebraska, and my tools are out in the garage, and I'm in here, and we're just kind of hanging out this evening. So, but anyway, here we go. I've got all the little nuts off, and so this really kind of it comes apart. The actual seal is on the let's see, does it go? Yeah, the seal goes to the taillight itself. You pull the taillight, the lens assembly, it kind of popped the seal off of there, and once you get it loose, it comes apart pretty easy. Now, putting it back together, you really, really, really want to take your time, because the purpose of it is to get the seal to actually seal the weather out, and then, as you see, it just comes off. Now, you put the seal on the actual metal piece of it, and then once you put it on to attach the two pieces together, then it makes it more rigid, I guess is the word, but it's not that difficult. It's getting an old one. Let's say you've got an 80s model car, and you're taking it apart, and it had the original seal. You're gonna have to be careful when peeling it off. And so I've already done that, and I've cleaned it all up, and then you set it back on there. And then what I've done, and I'm not going to go through the whole process, because it takes a few minutes to actually go through and align the gasket around the actual lens piece of it. So, but I'm going to put my screw my nuts back down, and all except these two, because you've got to get it to fit this way as it locks into place up there. and then we'll. I'll see that one. I need to move it because apparently it's a little rusty and is, yeah. See, it's screwing a little bit easier on that post. And then you again don't want to be you don't want to go too aggressive when you're tightening them down. But then as you're screwing the nuts down, and you might need to get, a little screwdriver, to kind of make sure that, and I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I'll try and do it to where the camera, you want this to kind of lip over so it seals, and it's attaching to both the metal piece and then the plastic lens itself. And the more you tighten it down, the better the seal is gonna be. But again, don't get too aggressive because you will crack the lens, especially some of these that are, they've been around for a while. Actually, that's okay. The rubber seal, it fits down inside. I was going the wrong way, so there we go. So, yeah, that, and then this fits in around the body portion of it, and that's what seals that. But yeah, you want to get this pretty snug without damaging it. Yeah, see, it's okay. Here we go. It's just taking your time and making it all work. So, with that said, I'm going to put these back on here for a little bit, and they're going to be loose because I still need to tighten the rest of them down, and I'll get a wrench and just go with it gently as we move along. And these seals, these were, I think, right around $50. So that's part of the topic of the conversation today. I haven't revealed in any of my videos what I've spent, where I'm at in this car. I've kind of kept that under wraps because, am I an idiot for working on this like that? Or, when you go to restore a car, are you doing it for the pleasure of it? Or are you doing it for the, just because you want to? Or are you doing it to make a profit? Now, there's a lot of folks out there that, excuse me, a lot of shops that, they do this for a living. But, if you're picking up a 67, 69 Camaro or Firebird or a Chevelle or something like that, and you're restoring it back to, pristine factory style condition, all numbers matching and things like that, where you're going to turn, big numbers and maybe make a good profit, you're going to spend some money. Is this car worth, is it worth the $20,000-ish or even $15,000 or $10,000, $12,000? Who's to say? It all depends on that buyer that happens to be out there. So, this video, I'm going to reveal where I'm at in this car and where I project it will be as to what I'm going to have in it. So, I bought the car we've been running these videos now about 5-6 months. I bought the car about 6 months ago. I paid $1,800 for the car. To get it running in parts, just parts, I spent $762 and a penny. So that means up until the first of the year, I've got $2,562.01 into the car. Now, not all bad, right? I mean, got a red convertible. It runs, it drives. It needs a little bit more work. It needs some vacuum lines, still addressed, and some rubber hoses and a few things like that. But it runs and it drives. So then decided, in watching the videos, and going back, and if you want, I've got the whole series for the 350 SL, and you can, reverse them and start with the first one when we brought it home, of how this all began. So I still have a list of parts that I've got to do. Now that the car is pretty much stripped down, or, we're about a quarter of the way of getting the paint stripped off of it, or at least where we're going to go. And the bottom line is, on that, that car, I'm not taking it all the way down to metal. I am going to try and get into, the first, layer into the first and second coat and make it smooth. I mean, there's going to be, some patches where, I'm getting, some metal, but then I've got the first coat of white and then the coat of red. And so the plan is to get into that area, because, I don't want to, if I take it all back down to metal, then, it's just that much more work. And I don't have a sandblaster, and I'm not going to sandblast it all the way down, because there are some weak spots in the metal that we're going to address. Yui Jose has welded in some sheet metal and done some body patching, but I'm not replacing panels. I'm not replacing door skins or anything like that. We're doing what we can, but is it going to make it? If I were to replace a panel, would it make that car that much more worth it? It's hard to say. It is production number 417, which means this car is the 417th one built in that model, which that means the R107. So are there any others out there before mine? I think there might be one I saw for sale, and it's in Arizona. It's hard to say. So at this point, if I had all a professional shop do this, I could have $15,000-$20,000 invested in this car to get what? $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 out of it. And I see ads for people trying to sell, classic cars, collector cars, street rods and things like that. I've invested over $39,000. I'm only asking $22,000 for the car. Yeah, okay. Was it a moneymaker for you? You took it to a few shows, got a few trophies, maybe won, a $200 pot here or $400 pot there. Was it worth it? It's a hobby, and it's kind of the excitement. Is that what my intent is on this? No, this is a car. I've wanted one. I have one. I'm fixing it up. I'm making it as close to right as I can, as much as I can afford. And then, we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? It's really going to be my wife's toy. And so whatever it's worth, that's what it's worth. And then when she's ready to sell it, then that's up to her. So up to this point, so I've got $2,562 and a penny into the car. Parts that I've received so far this year, in the month of January and so far, the taillight seals here. Those are $60 each, you know, one for each side. And then I did order the rubber hangers for the muffler hangers, the rubber donuts. And we'll be putting those on because the exhaust is sitting, well, on the rear, there's only one. And so, and it's weak. So, you know, kind of a safety thing there. Let's, you know, put those on. And that was $15. So that's $135. Now, here's what I got to get yet. Okay, since and this list can grow. So I already know I need a trunk seal because I take it off. So we're going to sand it all down and paint that, and that's $60. The driver door and the passenger door seals, those are $60 each. So I need one of each of those. The driver's door catch. We've noticed when we started taking the door panel, we took the door panel off to the passenger side and the driver's side, and noticed one thing was missing was a chrome trim piece on the driver's door. So that's $20. But the driver's door catch, I don't know if you paid attention to the videos, but Jose and I always had to reach in and open the door from the inside latch. Well, apparently there was a problem with it, and somebody had been messing around in there and never got it fixed. So what I'm going to do is, and I found it on eBay, the driver's door catch, the inside catch thing is $50. And then the latch rods that go across the door, that's another $35. So I'm going to go ahead and just order it because, you know, who knows, maybe somebody jammed the other one up and messed it up. And with this being an R107, I mean, built from 72 through 89, those parts are interchangeable and they all work. So, but I think you've got to be more specific from, you know, the 72 through 79, I believe, are more specific to this car. Need a washer fluid tank. That's about $85 to $100. I did order in the parts some tie rod bushings and a few other of those bushings. I haven't put them on. That was included in 2024, but we did also notice we need some subframe bushings because they're all flat and broke. And that's going to be right around, that kit is about $70. Shock absorbers, around $200 for all four. Basically, we need the front ones, but if we're going to do the front two, we might as well do the back two. Maintenance items, brake pads. Probably need to get a master cylinder rebuild kit, and that's going to be somewhere. I found one for $38, $40. I want to say roughly $50, but that's just those parts alone. That's $785. Let's go over here. I got a wish list. Okay. Well, first of all, and that I haven't even started on the paint and the supplies for that. Because, you know, I'm burning through some sandpaper right now, you know, probably at the rate of, you know, half a dozen sheets a day. So I've got, you know, the paint and supplies. We're going to run into some bucks there. Now, I priced out some paint. I've gone online. My best options for the paint to get the color that I want, I found two suppliers that have the 050 white, and it's base clear. It's a solvent based. So that's going to cost for a gallon of paint. Through one supplier, it was like $3.75. Another one was $4.50. And then you've got your reducers and hardeners and all of that. So we're looking, you know, $500 to $700. Probably some more sandpaper at $60. Tape and plastic, and I'm probably light on this because I remember in the last video I talked about creating a paint booth. So I'm going to be hanging plastic, from my rafters, just to give me, some basic of a sterile environment. So I've got $100 figured. It might be closer to 200. Primer sealer. The primer sealer kit, I found it for around 70 to 80 bucks. So I put down $75. Then additional miscellaneous supplies for 100, and then tack cloths and some other things. So that's $1,095 just to paint the car. And there's some additional things when I start putting things back together. There were screws missing. There were screws missing for the front grille. That was missing. I think it had 5 screws holding it together, so I'm going to be buying some of the new screws. And Jose even made a comment. He said, you ought to put new bolts and lock washers in where you like in the trunk and stuff like that, because those bolts were all painted red, and that's part of the reason why painting the trunk lid mounted back on it. But he's right. Some of those bolts, they've been unscrewed and put back on several times. Wouldn't hurt to get some new bolts and screws, and get some chrome screws for the trim pieces on the door. So there's going to be another $20-$30. And then I've got a wish list. I'd like to order a carpet kit, even though if you go back a couple of videos, several videos, and I think it's more for the 280 SEL, where I was refoaming the backs of the carpet. I did do one with the red for this car. And the carpet is okay. It's worn. I mean, the car has 100,000 miles on it. But I think it would freshen it up a little bit. And so that, that's another option. And then, the convertible top has the back window plastic that's, the clear plastic that's not clear. And then the one quarter window that's not even there. Excuse me. I could, find a place to get that repaired. That might cost $200-$300, but I found online I can get a whole convertible top brand new for $495. So, that's an option as well. Now, and it would be just another black one. So, with all of that. Oh, and then I'm going to carpet the trunk after I put some of that heat resistant stuff in where we replace the panel. So there's another $100. So all in all, with the list and my wish list, the wish list and everything, I'm up to $5,762. Am I an idiot? Is the car worth, excuse me, is the car worth $5,700, $5,800, $6,000 when I get done? Because remember, I haven't paid any labor. A lot of this is volunteer labor by Jose. He's enjoying doing it. The painting, excuse me, will be done by either myself, Jose, or I have another friend that painted cars. I'll bring it into him, or he will come to me and paint it in the garage, and he's actually volunteered to do so. He hasn't painted cars in quite a long time, but he showed me pictures of some of the work he's done, and quite frankly, I don't need it perfect. I don't need a deep shine because keep in mind, in 1972, this color and this car did not have that deep, deep shine. And I don't want that because it wasn't intended for. This is the white that was used on the Pagodas, you know, in the late 60s. So I want to replicate that more so than having that shine that you know, you can see the reflections of, you know, the clouds when you're looking at it on a, you know, under a tree or whatever. I mean, I don't need that that deep of a shine. Now, yes, we'll make it shiny, but not, you know, not. Golly, sorry about that, folks. Just not going that deep. So I don't think I'm an idiot at this point. If I had to pay someone to do this, I'd be into this car well over $10,000. In fact, I'd be closer to, it's going to cost me, it would cost me $5,000 to $8,000 just for the body and paint work alone. So, folks, this is something that, you know, it's a talent. It's a, you know, people today, a lot of young people today, don't have much interest. I mean, because you're always on your phones and playing video games and things like that. So, you know, this is a hobby, and you know, could I make money on this? I can hopefully break even at least. But again, it's all up to the buyer on the other end when it's up for sale. So I have here, now this one says it's a 450 SL, but there's the car in red, picture it in white, and this one, you know, this is probably the most, you know, the color combination that was probably the most popular. The tan top with the tan interior and the red painting, the signal red paint color. The white is rare. There weren't that many of them, so I'm happy that I am going to get it back to the white. It's just a kind of a painstaking process to get there. So hit like if you like this video. If you have any comments or concerns, put them down below. Please share this with your friends if you have somebody that's interested in, you know, kind of following what I'm doing. We're going to do another couple lives. In fact, we may be actually doing, I may go live on the day that we paint the car. And that's the projected time to paint is going to be the last weekend in March or the first weekend in April, because the temperatures here in Nebraska for not having a controlled environment would be ideal, because it'll be in the 60s during the day as the high. That's usually the average high. And so you don't have to speed up the, you know, we don't have to put slow reducer. We could speed it up a little bit. And in fact, you know, Josh, the guy who's going to paint this, he said he would prefer it cooler because you know, as he's gunning it, he doesn't drip sweat and things like that. So a little cooler with a little faster reducer doesn't hurt anything. So there you have it. Questions, comments down below. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Hit the reminder so you can be reminded when I come out with another video. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. And as always, you know, if you have any comments or concerns, put them down below. Thank you.